Okay. Right. Come in, come in. It's nice to see you, yeah. Well, it is that time of year, isn't it? Anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome all of you for coming along on this freezing cold night in January. I was just remarking to Alan, it's a long, long time since I've been invited to anything to do with the Labour Party for a long time. The day that I came out in favour of no paying the poll tax, I have to say, there was a nail in my coffin then. That was when the great Donald Dewar was seen on television apparently when I said I wanted all the MPs in Westminster not to pay the poll tax. But apparently he visibly slid down in his seat about 3 feet. And afterwards called me, he said, yes, Elaine, she's very good, but a bit of an unguided missile. And I took it as a compliment, by the way. I'd like to say, though, here tonight and in this campaign and for many, many years, I have been very guided. I know exactly where the target is. And, you know, it was always a source of sadness to me that sort of tribal element of politics in Scotland came in, and that you weren't allowed to think differently. And if you did, I suppose I should take this as a compliment as well. For about 20 years, I've not been invited to anything in the city chambers. That might be quite a good thing. Either. As soon as I said I was in favour of independence. Anyway, the only party I've ever been a member of is the Labour Party. And I left during the miners' strike. I don't need to go any further, really, I really do. I'm sort of appalled by what was going on at that time, and I've never been a member of a party since. I am a member of the advisory board of Yes Scotland, and I am a believer, passionate campaigner for independence. And the reason that I'm here today is that, apart from the fact that Alan asked me, is that I do think we have to make this debate as broad as we possibly can. And without that Labour, Socialist, Left vote, of which I am part, we will not win this. Also, without the participation of women, we will not win this. And the fact that all the polling indicates that it's women that are the most reticent about independence. I mean, my argument a wee bit, you know, we do live in Scotland. There's a lot of women who are, you know, reticent about doing much in their own lives or claiming their own personal independence. That the leap towards independence for the country is maybe a bigger leap than many women have even anticipated at this point. And that's a lot of work for us to do. I would like to say here and now, Yes Scotland, many of you will know this, it is not only the SNP. Could I say it again? It is not only the SNP. But I would like to say this, and I'm not a member, and I've been a fellow traveller. There's much that the SNP stand for that I don't agree with, but I can live with it. Because it is the SNP and many fellow travellers and campaigners for many, many years that have brought us to this place, this special place, where we actually get a chance to vote on the future of our country. And better, we get a chance to think about, engage, and dream about the country we want to be. And that is a bigger question. It drives me crazy in lots of meetings. You know, a lot of people say, you know, why am I voting no? I can't go in that Alex Salmon. I want to go, shut up. This isn't about Alex Salmon. This is about us. This is a vote for our future and our country. I'm glad we're here. I'm glad that we in Scotland are still passionate enough to care enough to argue with each other, to tackle difficult issues, to be creative in the way that we think, to engage our brains into thinking about how we want to live, not simply about what everything costs. We have been living for more than 25 years now in a country where we know the price of everything and the value of nothing. And here's the thing. I dread to think the state of political debate if we weren't having a referendum. Can you imagine it? At least this has brought us here. We're back having meetings. We're back having discussions, arguments. Artists are painting stuff. Writers are writing. Plays are being written. What a rich cultural theme this has been for everyone to engage our brains and do this. Now, it's a place for new ideas, I think, new ways of thinking. And that doesn't exist as far as Westminster is concerned. I mean, Westminster, for me, that corrupt gentleman's club on the banks of the Thames, bereft of real ideas and thinking, interested in its own power and the future of those within it, where it appears that a neoliberalist, capitalist view of the world has won, and there's no other way to live or run our country well there is. And supporting yes doesn't make you more Scottish, I'd like to say. I can't be arsed with all that. I know that's not parliamentary language, but sorry about that, I can't. I don't doubt the sincerity of those who've yet to make up their minds, or who are voting no. They're not any more Scottish or less Scottish than anyone else. They've got loyalties, they've got political beliefs and emotions just like those in the yes camp. And the thing that binds us all is that we want to make this place better. We've got to make it better. Where we differ is how we think we can achieve that. And I personally do not believe, and have not for a long, long time, that Westminster is fit to do that anymore. Not just here in Scotland, but across the whole of Britain. And I believe it's incapable of real reform unless the entire notion of the British state reforms. And I don't see one political party out there ready to take that on. What we have with independence is a chance to create a real democratic parliament with full powers, a written constitution, and where sovereignty, that wee tiny thing, but that huge thing, lies with the people of Scotland. And at the core of this argument for me is poverty. Poverty, the rage I feel at what has not been done for the people who need it the most is with me every day. And you know, I think a lot of the problems within the Labour Party and why they hate the SNP more than the Tories is that part of it is that the light has been shone on what they haven't done. And do you know what they feel? And you know what I think? It's always that way, you know, when you really give somebody a ready, that they can either go, keys up, that's terrible, or they go, how dare you, and all that. That's what we're getting. They're actually feeling shame. And shame for some people makes them fight all that harder to hang on to what it is and to defend what the indefensible in many ways. But that for me is where it is. And that decision somewhere not to make the lives of ordinary people better is shameful for me. Anyway, and where is the vision? Well, I mean, it's the thing. Born to Fail, I think, was actually written, 30-odd years ago in this very city? Worse now. Worse now for thousands, if not millions of people across this country. That's a disgrace. And where's the vision in politics to tackle this? Don't see it. And of course, if you dare to talk about independence as being an answer, you get the Project Fear book of quotes thrown at you. You're splitters, separatists. You're abandoning Britain and its British values. Well, I would like to say here and now that it is not Scotland that's abandoned British values. It is Westminster, the city-state of London, the rich elites that have abandoned that post-war consensus that my parents and my grandparents fought for and that bound these islands of Britain together. We have witnessed an attack on the working class, not just in the Daily Mail, but they're heading it up, definitely. A demonization of the working poor that is quite staggering. Peddling myths and lies to get us to turn on each other and take our eyes off what's really going on with those that hold all the power and all the wealth. We're always accused in the Yes campaign of being too emotional, letting our hearts rule our heads. But I'm actually with the wonderful playwright David Gregg, who said that for him, coming to Yes was precisely the opposite. It was his intelligence and intellect that brought him to Yes. It was his heart that feared. Well, I would like to say that we need both of them to win. We need our hearts and our heads. And I know our speakers tonight will engage both of them. It's important also to really hear what you have to say. As I said earlier, I've spoken at a lot of meetings, and a lot of people, like-minded people there, all fellow travellers. And I'm now at a point where I actually want to speak to those who've got doubts and who want to hear the arguments properly, not just the rehearsed shallow confines of a TV or radio studio or in partisan newspapers. Hopefully, I think tonight we can achieve that. We've got fantastic speakers here tonight. So they're all going to speak, and I'm asking everyone, myself included, that if we start saying the same arguments over, if we're all saying the same thing, then maybe we should self-edit a wee bit if we don't mind. So that we all love our speechifying, but it's more important that we hear the contributions from all of you. So thank you very much for coming along. Thank you. So I'd now like to hand over to the guy who's organised all of this with the help of many others and who stepped out